Milling Through History presents The Real Zorro. The character of Zorro is very well known in both literature and film. However, most people do not realize he is based off of a real person. The individual that is best known as the Real Zorro was named Joaquin Murrieta. But who is this particular individual? Well, ironically enough, not a great deal of information is actually known about this famous outlaw. Most likely, he was born in Hermosillo, which is in Sonora, Mexico. In the year 1849, he would leave Mexico and go to California, along with many people during the Great California Gold Rush. And while he was there in California, Joaquin would experience a great deal of prejudice and hostility, most likely due to the fact that he was Mexican. It was also during this time that most historians believe that he was just pushed too far to the edge by all of the hostility he had been facing and made the decision to become an outlaw. Now, in becoming an outlaw in 1850s California, Joaquin would go ahead and organize a gang which was primarily made up of fellow Mexicans. Their initial target was that of those men who had been going after them and being so hostile to them. Upon seeking revenge from all these hostile individuals, the gang would also engage in horse theft, as they would steal horses from ranchers and then transport them down to Mexico from the United States. Now, the measure of his notoriety as an outlaw became so great that the California state legislature considered Joaquin to be so much of a menace that they would place a bounty upon his head. And, in addition to this, the California state legislature would go ahead and create the California Rangers, which were sent out to find him and other bandits. On July 25, 1853, the Rangers would go ahead and find a group of armed Mexican outlaws and engage them in a gunfight, whereupon they killed 3 individuals and captured an additional 2. According to the Rangers, Joaquin was one of the individuals killed during this shootout, and in order to ensure that people knew they had captured the famous outlaw, he was beheaded, and his head was then put into a jar and sent throughout the state of California to show that this particular notorious outlaw was dead. Now, the head itself did become a bit of a curiosity, but would be destroyed in 1906 as the Great San Francisco earthquake and fire destroyed much of the city and many of its historical objects. Following his death and decades later, Joaquin's story would become the inspiration of the famous fictional character of Zorro, and as such, he has also been seen as a symbol of resistance to both economic and cultural domination for Mexicans living in California by Americans. Now be sure to click like, share, and subscribe for future episodes of Milling Through History, and be sure to leave comments below for future episode ideas, and be sure to take a look at our suggested reading page.